I'm grateful to have this opportunity today to talk about my research. My research explores Western popular music in Darjeeling, been facilitated by colonial institutions, transnational migrant populations, and media. And this Western music in the post colonial context becomes increasingly localized and hybridized, giving way to a distinct music culture in the hills. If we are to look at Indian popular music studies, two important problems can be found. First, it is highly metropolitan bias. Second, it's focused mostly on Bollywood. So my paper shifts this focus from the metropolises to the peripheries, and it argues that peripheral regions such as Darjeeling, rather than being passive recipients of cultural forms from the metropolises, are in fact can be active sites of cultural production. So, the Western music in Darjeeling can be traced back to its colonial foundations. First, Darjeeling been established as a health sanatorium as early as the 1830s, and with the tea industry, a prominent tea industry, led to a high concentration of European population in the hills. And to cater to the needs of the socialization demands, there were establishment of European social clubs such as the Gymkhana Club and the Planters Club, in which Western music became an integral part of the socialization activity. Furthermore, these elite clubs were sustained by the wealth garnered by the tea industry. For example, the Planters Club, established by the Association of Local Planters in Darjeeling, became important waterhole or hub for socialization of the local European elites. And the importance of this club can be demonstrated by the visit to the club by Mark Twain in 1896. Also important were the role of missionary institutions in Darjeeling, and they served two important functions. First, they became the key site of musical education, with institutions such as St. Joseph's College, North Point, having an important Western music as an important part of their curriculum, with lessons in voice, piano, and guitar. And secondly, these institutions also became early points of contact of the local population with Western music and culture. For example, the various during the various church activities in which the local population and youth were exposed to Western tonal harmonic practices as well as instrumental practices. So, music in the post colonial context, especially given the Nehruvian social economy where everything and anything foreign was heavily taxed, hence leading to the paucity of Western musical artifacts. Uh, in Darjeeling, this scarcity was addressed by two transnational population. The first being the Southeast Asian students studying in the various missionary institutes in Darjeeling, who would bring the latest in records, guitars, amps for their counterparts back at home or in Darjeeling. Similarly, the native British Gorkha soldiers also played the same role. Uh, they were posted in the various erstwhile colonies of Britain, such as Brunei, Hong Kong, or Singapore. During the furloughs would bring the latest in records, fashion items, instruments for their counterparts or native relatives and population of Darjeeling. So importantly, this transnational population functioned not just as facilitating access to Western music, but became important cultural intermediaries, a concept about Bordeaux, in which they not only facilitated access but became tastemakers in the music culture in the hills. Importantly, radio and print played a crucial part in the dissemination of Western music again in Darjeeling. First was Radio Ceylon, which not only had Hindi music but also Western music, through its various programs, became household named in Darjeeling. Similarly, the print magazine Junior Statesman, published from Kolkata or Calcutta, became a key source of Western music, fashion, and trends in Darjeeling as well as in India. Even bands from Darjeeling were featured in the publication. So, taken together, radio and print functioned as media infrastructure, not just facilitating the access, but also having the cultural ramification in the music of the hills. So, to demonstrate this process of localization of Western music and hybridity, we look at the case study of the first band from the hills called the Hillians. So the Hillians were formed in 1959 and emerged through the layered colonial or post colonial influences that we'll see. First, they were missionary educated and they gained their musical knowledge and skills through their association in the church activities. So later, as a band, they were sustained in this elite venues such as the Gymkhana Club and the Planters Club, and in the paucity of musical instruments and musical artifacts in pre-liberalized Indian economy, uh, the instruments and recordings were supplied by the various transnational networks consisting of the Southeast Asian students and the Gorkha British soldiers and others. And this hybridization is also could also be seen in their popular music single called Mayalu Mayalu, which fuses Western pop forms with three vocal Beatles like vocal harmonies mixed with Nepali lyrics. So in conclusion, the music of Darjeeling, having its origins on the colonial infrastructure, was increasingly hybridized in the post colonial period and giving way to a unique or a distinct music culture in the hills that doesn't fit into the binaries of being local or rather global. Thank you.